famous star of the New York Knickerbockers. How you doing, man?
Sir, how you doing?
Great.
I just want to start off by reading you some of Brooklyn's finest. Michael K. Williams, Shirley Winters, Wolfman Jack, Barbara Streisand, Marissa Tomei, Joe Torre, Jonathan Turtle, Mike Tyson, Carl Sagan, Adam Sandler, Jerry Seinfeld, Bugsy Siegel, Lou Reed, Joan Rivers, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, Biggie, Larry King, Little Kim, Al Capone, The Three Stooges, Mo, Jay-Z, Michael Jordan, Harvey Keitel, Jimmy Kimmel, and that's it. And you. What is so special about the borough, the Republic of Brooklyn, New York?
When I was in the Senate, we had 3 United States senators that came from one high school, James Madison High School in Brooklyn, New York. Now, you got great athletes, you got great intellectuals, you got great entertainers.
Artists.
You know, it's a fantastic collection of people. It's a
But why is that?
Who knows? But I think it's a lot to do with a very vibrant community of people who in many cases did not have a lot of money. Some immigrants, some born here.
Can afford to live in Manhattan.
There you go. That's right. And who struggled and whose parents wanted them to do something. Education was very important in all of this stuff, you know. And I think people's bouncing off of each other, you know, good minds, and a lot of great teachers, by the way. Let's not forget, that speaks a lot about public education. My guess is 90% of those people went to public schools in New York City.
Right. And the diversity of Brooklyn.
Absolutely. Right? No, it was a great place to grow up for me. And you've given the results of that. It is and was a very vibrant community, a lot of great people.
So how you go from Brooklyn to Vermont?
By car. Mostly it was by car. About a 7-hour trip north. You know, I grew up in Flatbush. And when I was a kid, I went to Boy Scout camp. And some people will remember this up in Narrowsburg, New York. Does that ring any bells? A big 10-mile river Boy Scout camp.
I only know about Lake George. That was it.
That's not that far away, actually. And it was the first glimpse that I had of the country. And you know what? I really liked it.
You didn't see the country, went to Prospect Park?
Well, that was part of the country. Saw the elephants. Yeah, we fed the elephants. Yes, we did. But, you know, I really, you know, was impacted and felt very comfortable being in the country. And then many years later, went to Vermont, and that's where I stayed.
Let me ask this. What do you have to do to get the older generation of the African American vote? Because the older generation, black folks, they know the Clintons, 20-some years.
That's right.
You're like the new guy on the block.
That is exactly. But you got the issue. We're doing phenomenally well with all of the young people, white, black, Latino, you name it, Asian American. And we're getting killed, frankly, not just with older African Americans, older whites, older Latinos. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And what really bothers me is I spent half my life in the Congress helping to lead the effort for senior citizens in terms of fighting all those people.
But they don't know that.
I don't know. We're figuring out how to get it out. But we've led the effort against cuts to Social Security. We want to expand Social Security, taking on the drug companies who are doing terrible things to elderly people. You know, seniors are cutting their prescription drugs in half, standing with the veterans. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of reaching out to seniors, not just African Americans, but seniors all across the board.
Do you think that Mrs. Hillary Clinton has advantage with her relationship with President Obama? I mean, what is your relationship with the president?
It's a good relationship. And by the way, your point about, you know, people knowing the Clintons and the African American community for 25 years.
And then when black folks saw Bill Clinton play the saxophone.
That's right.
City Hall.
First black president, right? Obama's only the second black president.
No. Toni Morrison said that Bill Clinton was the first black president. Right. She said that.
All right. So, I mean, that's what we're up against. Your question was?
About your relationship with the president.
Oh, it's a good relationship.
Okay. You think that Hillary Clinton has an advantage?
Well, she was Secretary of State with him for 4 years. Let me be very straight about this. This president will go down in history as one of the smartest presidents we've ever. He's got a brilliant guy.
It's going to take a couple of years to look back from this.
Yes, right? You're right. Although I think people are beginning to catch on after they.
I know that, but in general.
Yeah, and especially the more they hear from the Republicans, the smarter they think he is. But, but he is also incredibly disciplined and focused. Now you take it for granted.
Smart,
brilliant. But you know, you're around the media every single day, and you have the opportunity to say dumb things. He does it very, very rarely. He is very focused, and he came to Vermont to campaign for me way back in 2006. I worked on his elections in 2008 and 2012. And, just was in the Oval Office a couple of months ago. So we have a very positive and I think friendly relationship. Is he closer to Hillary Clinton? I suspect. She was his Secretary of State for 4 years.
When did it hit you, I'm going to run for the United States of America? When did this happen?
It struck me when and I got to tell you, there's a funny story that every day 100 people brush their teeth and they look in the mirror and every one of them says, there is the next president of the United States. That's the definition of the U.S. Senate. All right. Honestly, I was not one of those people.
That wasn't you, huh?
It wasn't me. I love my state. Very happy to be the senator. But this is what I concluded, Spike. With all due respect to Secretary Clinton and everybody else, it is too late for establishment politics and establishment economics. The problems facing this country now are so serious, are so deep, that the same old ain't going to do it. And what we need to do is create a political movement, what I call a political revolution, where millions of people come together, stand up.
Coalition, right?
Coalition, absolutely a coalition. Based on the trade union movement, the civil rights movement, the women's movement, the gay community movement, and bringing people together to tell the billionaire class that they cannot have it all. And that's the case right now. People don't appreciate how much power Wall Street has, corporate America, the corporate media. And we got to take them on.
Bernie, 99 Americans die every day in this country due to gun violence, a third of those by suicide. I know Vermont is different from Bed-Stuy, do or die, the Boogie Down Bronx, Chirac, Philadelphia, Biden, Murderland. So can you explain to me what your views are? Because I had a couple of questions, about...
Okay, well, let's do it. Here is the point. Your first statement is right. Vermont and rural America. People talk about guns. You know what they're talking about? Talking about hunting. And it is something that, my state, tens and tens of thousands of people do. They take their kids into the woods. There's target practice. There are antique gun shows. And that's what guns are. I do know that guns mean something very different around urban America. And what we have got to do is get a handle on this horrific gun violence. There's no question about that.
Right.
I have a D- voting record from the NRA. All right, D- voting record. And I've stood up to them for years. In 1988, Spike, I ran for the United States Congress in the state of Vermont. I lost that election because I was the only candidate who said that, maybe we should not be selling and distributing military-style assault weapons in this country, weapons designed just to kill people.
Right. This is in 88?
Yeah, in 88, way before.
Way back.
And I lost that election, and maybe that was I lost by 3 points, and perhaps that was the reason.
So 3 points in Vermont is 5 people?
No, it's 12 people, actually. No. And, my view is that right now, we have got to deal with this, every week, every 2 weeks, we're seeing, mass shootings, you're right. I mean, there's a lot that has to be done.
But can the NRA and the gun manufacturers and the lobbyists, it seems like they're so strong that they're invincible?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, this is
Tell me why.
This is what I think. I think there is a consensus about what we should be doing.
Even very flag waving, our members agree about common sense.
No. That's right, common sense, all right? And that means that if you tell the average gun owner in the state of Vermont, guy goes hunting, and you say to them, look, we got to do everything we can to make sure that people who should not have guns do not have guns, they'll agree with you. Not everybody. Overwhelming majority will agree with you. We also need to know that, especially with these kinds of shootings that are going around, Spike, there are, on a day like today, any day, there are thousands of people walking the streets of America who are suicidal and who are homicidal. I get calls in my office from people who say, please help us find mental health treatment that's affordable that we can get to. And people are having a hard time doing that. We need to address that issue as well.
Bernie, what does Black Lives Matter mean to you?
What it means is that we are all sick and tired of seeing unarmed people shot by police officers. That young people in African American communities are harassed by police officers, where police departments are not there to be supportive, but are in many cases oppressive. And that's an issue that has got to be addressed.
Trump. Let me ask a question. Have you ever seen a film Facing the Crowd?
Yeah, I did.
Do you see a correlation between Lonesome Rhodes, played by Andy Griffith, and Donald Trump?
Look, understand, at least in my view, he is an entertainer, by and large. And, he did very well on television. He knows the media very, very well. Don't underestimate him. And God knows who he is really, but we see what he personifies on TV every night. He knows how to manipulate the media very effectively. He knows how to, do what he does with people. But let me just reassure the viewers, Donald Trump is not going to become president of the United States. That I can do.
Would you agree that he's possibly the Frankenstein that the GOP has created, and now that like the novel, they got a monster in their hands and don't know what to do with it?
Oh, absolutely. No, there's no question. The establishment, Republicans are going nuts. And, this could lead to a real dissolution of the Republican Party.
Who are the people who are voting for him?
I will tell you who they are.
When the guy says, I can stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, even saying that 99 Americans die every day, and you're going to shoot somebody and no one's going to not vote for you, that's insane to me.
Well, that's virtually every day he says something that's crazier than the day before, right? Mm-hmm. So, what can you say? But here's what I think is going on. I think the establishment has underestimated the contempt and the frustration that the American people have, a segment of the American people have with politics as usual.
Washington, D.C., right?
Yeah. So when he says, look, I'm not them. Mm-hmm. They say, okay, that's good enough for me. You're not them. That's all that I need. And the other thing, there's a lot of anger out there and a lot of reasons for the anger. But one of the reasons for, these 50-year-old, 50, 60-year-old guys, white guys voting for Trump is in many cases they are working longer hours for lower wages. They're seeing their jobs go to China. They're seeing their jobs go to Mexico. They're scared to death about the future of their kids. And they don't see anybody doing anything about it. And Trump comes along and says, I got the solution. We're going to scapegoat Mexicans. And we're going to build a wall a mile high.
We're going to make Mexico pay for the wall.
Oh, absolutely.
A 25-foot. Now, how are you going to tell a country, you got to pay for it? Something they don't want anyway.
That's a pretty good question, I think. But and the other thing is you scapegoat Muslims. All right. So look, you know, and I know that the history, what politics has been about, not just in this country but around the world. You when there are real crises out there, right? And people are angry. What do? You don't get to the real issues as to why people are hurting. You scapegoat. So that is nothing new. That's what demagogues have always done, and that's what Trump is doing.
I'm very proud to be a tenured professor at NYU University. Costs more to go to NYU than any other school in the United States of America. If you're born with the wrong zip code, you're behind from the jump. Can we talk about education?
Yeah, that's fine.
And also, more than half young black men do not graduate high school, which is a direct pipeline for an industrial prison complex.
You got it. All right, you're giving my speech here. All right.
From Brooklyn.
All right, and here's what I say every day. Real youth unemployment in this country, which nobody talks about, by the way, is off the charts. For African American kids, 17 to 20, who graduated high school, real unemployment is 51% today. 51%. Latinos, 36%. White kids, 33%. And of course, what ends up happening, instead of investing in education for those kids or in jobs for those kids, too many of them are ending up in jail. And we have more people in jail than any other country on earth.
And a lot of these prisons are privatized too. So it's a business now.
You got it. And that's why we have introduced legislation that would end private ownership of prisons and detention centers, by the way. Corporations should not be making money in this country by imprisoning people. So this whole issue of criminal justice, of keeping people out of jail, which means jobs and education for younger people, it means taking a hard look at this war on drugs. Since the last 20, 30 years, millions of people have police records for possession of marijuana.
And let's be honest, President Clinton was responsible for sending a whole lot of people of color, to prison, which she apologized for. But if I spent 10 years in prison, that apology is not going to be enough.
That's right. But I think what we have to focus on now is rethinking the war on drugs. Right now, I don't know if you know this, under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, marijuana is a Schedule I drug right alongside of heroin. Isn't that pretty crazy?
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're going to take, I have introduced legislation, take marijuana out of it. It should not be a federal crime. States can legalize it if they want to. There is an enormous amount that we can do. And I think, by the way, the American people are fairly united on this. And you know why conservatives want it? Because we're spending $80 billion a year locking up people. And nobody thinks that that makes sense.
How much education?
That's right. That's right. So in terms of education, look, this is what I think. You and I were kids. First grade through 12th grade was what free public schools, right?
Public schools in New York City were great then.
They really were. Absolutely. No, I went to a great school. Teachers were great. Parents took education seriously. Free public education, first grade through 12th grade. Well, you know what?
And you go to City College too. That was free.
All right. You're jumping ahead of me here. All right. Here's the point. Today, the world has changed, right? Economy has changed. Technology has changed. People need more education. And I believe that when we talk about public education in America today, we've got to be saying that it includes free tuition at public colleges and universities. All right, is that a radical idea? I don't think so. Your point was that 50 years ago, how much did it cost to go to City College? Probably virtually nothing.
Nothing.
Right. University of California, great university, virtually nothing. So if we could do it 50 years ago, I don't know why the hell we can't do it today, and that's what I want to do.
Last time, I know we're running out of time. Hillary Clinton, yourself, are we in the bottom of the ninth inning? What's happening?
I'm feeling really good. I honestly am. We have won 6 out of the last 7 caucuses by landslide victories in every single case, more than 67, 70%. We're in Wisconsin in a few days. I think we have a good chance to do well there. We're coming to New York City. And you know what?
How do we do in New York?
I think we're going to win New York. I think we will. It's going to be a tough fight. She was the United States Senator here for 8 years. But I think we got a real shot to win it.
You're from Brooklyn. You're not scared though, right?
Oh, no. In fact, I look forward to it. I'm very excited about it. I mean, one of the great joys of New York City, as opposed to a state like Iowa or Wisconsin, is you got to travel long distances. But here, you're 15 minutes away from another population center. So we're going to do a whole lot of rallies in this city. We're going to go back to Brooklyn, spend a lot of time in Brooklyn. We're off to South Bronx tonight. I think we're going to have 10, 20,000 people out there.
The boogie down.
Yeah, the boogie down. We're going to do really good. I'm feeling good.
Well, thank you.
Hey.
It's an honor.
It's an honor for me.
You got my vote.
I've seen and enjoyed almost all your movies. So thank you.
Thank you.